Again, a very good morning and welcome to our live broadcast this morning. I say good morning and welcome to KOIKIMEDIA. I hope we met you well again as we prepare the program again this morning. I'd like to welcome everyone that have joined us, and I say good morning to the live program. So we're just getting ready. As we say all the time, today's the 23rd, so we're still a little bit behind schedule, but I'm trying my best to get all the platforms ready as quickly as possible before we join Archie. So I say good morning and welcome once again to the live program. As you're joining, help us to distribute the program and tell somebody that we are live again. So good morning once again. Not really a charger, right? Yeah. Alright, gotta start charging it. I'm not sure why this didn't charge at all. Just gonna have to charge this. Very low battery. Once again, a very good morning and welcome. So we're almost there. So good morning to everyone that is joining us. And welcome to Starr Radio UK, KOIKIMEDIA, as we prepare you for the day. Good morning. How are you? Hope you're not working hard. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri pé a tún káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa, ètò tí a fi ń dára wa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Mo kí wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé a very, very good morning and welcome. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And my name is Koiki. And I'll be telling you everything you need to know in just about a few minutes. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're joining Starr Radio in just about 3 minutes. So we're gonna be joining the Starr Radio in just about 3 minutes. Just getting ready. Good morning, Bishop Additional, and the rest of you. We are back again. Day 2, the business show. So, but you'll be getting my own response back as well, because I'm using the AirPod. It is the day 2. Good morning, every one of you. Well, a very good morning back to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning to all our viewers and listeners, and welcome once again to the day 2, from Excel Center, where we're quietly seated. It is much better than outside. You can tell that I don't have my jacket on. Good morning to you, and good morning to all our listeners and those that have joined us on the sister broadcast as well. And welcome once again to the Starr Radio UK, reporting live from Excel Center. I'll be telling you more later on. But for now, let me come back again to you in the studio. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a little bit of the background, and then I'm going to sit back again so that we can be able to have the feel. I've met a couple of the college students that have been here as well. So a lot of people are here. I might probably see, maybe we might get somebody to speak to us on the Starr Radio UK later on as well. But as you can tell, it's a very, very busy day right here in the Excel Center, where the business show is right there. I've been inside already. It seems more busier than I thought when we came down yesterday. But I'm going to come back again to you in the studio, and I will be telling you those students that I met and the reason why they've decided to come down to Excel Center this morning as well. But once again, good morning to you, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank. And let me come back again to you in the studio. Well, the Niger Voices yesterday was very fantastic. We had, the review of the former President Muhammadu Buhari and why Nigeria is currently at where it is today. I mean, many Nigerians have, been asking questions after, the former president granted an interview with one of the network in Nigeria, and that interview has generated a lot of questioning. One of the questions that the interview generated was when the wife of the president spoke about the government of the husband being hijacked. I can now confirm from what the president have said that was a truly information. The government of Buhari was hijacked, but Buhari told us that the wife is meant to be in the kitchen and the other room as well. So that took us to about almost an hour or thereabout. I would love as many of us to go back and watch that because there was a lot of response from some of our listeners from around the world. We went into what took place at the Excel Center, and we talked about the government, talking about using Nigeria as a culture to make about 100 billion revenue in the next 7 years. How that is going to happen, I'm not too sure. But as many of those that are campaigners for the self-determination are saying, well, the other question, if you look at the card that I've got here, the Yoruba people are one people, one culture, one language. But it seems that the government wants to maximize, these opportunities, using our culture, the Igbo culture, the Hausa culture, the 350 ethnic groups match together to use that as part of the 10% return for that sector, and that will be helping the GDP as well. From there, we went into the Right to Self-Determination campaign. Is a sponsor program from Ilana Omodudua, and this next 24 hours will be a very, very key important one because the leader of the self-determination movement, Professor Banja Kintoye, will be speaking to the Yorubas and be telling us what is the way forward for the last 3 years of the movement. It was a packed event that we went back to talk about, some of the security concern. The Senate is now talking about, the CCTV that was purchased in 2010, worth almost $500 million. They are now asking the current Minister of FCT to review that and see why the CCTV that was a company from China, a Chinese firm, where the CCTV are, and why there's still a lot of one chance and a lot of activities of criminality and terrorism in the capital city. If the capital city is not safe, you might as well think the whole country is not safe. The president is back from Germany, and like I said to you, there's still a lot to discuss this morning between the president, Tinubu, and the NLC, the Nigerian Labour Congress. Starr Radio UK, I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie. Well, you're quite right. There's still a lot between, the Labour, the Nigerian Labour Congress, the TUC, and the federal government as well. This morning, the federal government have literally slashed about almost 100 billion, and the Labour Union have kicked against that. From the report coming, this morning, the Labour Union, lambasted the federal government of President Bola Tinubu for slashing the supplementary budget allocation for wage award. I mean, we're talking about many Nigerians that are still struggling when it comes to the wages. You know, many Nigerians are still earning less than 30,000. The government promised a little bit of top up for 6 months, and then that will be reviewed. But data obtained from the newly revised 2023 supplementary budget indicated that the government swapped a controversial 5 billion presidential yacht vote for the Navy badges increase the budget for defense from 470.54 billion to 546.21 billion, and likewise earmarked 20 billion naira as a capital supplementation for the National Intelligence Agency as well. But the report says that there is a 2.1 trillion naira of the 2023 supplementary budget was marred with a lot of controversy following the discovery of simply what we call extravagant item, forcing the amendment by the National Assembly. In that proposed document, the 4-month wages award was to cost the government to the tune of 210 billion naira. However, this morning the report says that the newly revised document shows that it's now going to cost 200 billion as against 210 billion. So the labor union is really kicking against that. Well, this is coming from the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, has now called for an immediate investigation of an intelligence report, which is also a misconduct by some of the officials of the Nigerian coronation services. Let's talk about the prison break. There was a prison break in Kuje, during the former President Muhammadu Buhari. There was a prison break in Ibadan, in Oyo State, where Iskilu, one of the, the most terrorist individual, was kept in that prison, but that prison was breaked as well. During the former President Muhammadu Buhari, we saw as many prison break, and that let loose many Boko Haram terrorists and many ISWAP. I was listening to the Chief of Defense Staff talking about, how the military are being paid 50,000 naira a month and feeding allowance to 1,500. Not enough, and what can be done to make sure that those that are working in the security, immigration, are well taken care of. We talked about the Nigerian Railway Corporation yesterday, also ticket racketeering. Throughout my trip yesterday and this morning, I've only been using my card to transport from my location here, and no one will be able to see the money apart from the TFL. But what are we getting? This is contained in a statement by a special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Alao Babatunde, at Abuja yesterday, or rather today. The minister ordered the investigation while reacting to comment again by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, when he appeared before the members of the House of Representatives on Tuesday. According to the CDS, some officers of the coronation services connived with inmates to finance the operation of proscribed terrorist group. In his reaction, Mr. Tunji Jojo condemned the unpatriotic act directing the Controller General of the Nigerian Coronation Services, Aliru Nababa, to investigate these disturbing allegations. During the former president again, we had the report from Dubai where individuals have now been named, but the former president refused to give us those names of some of those that have been linked to Nigeria, financing terrorism coming from the United Arab Emirates. Well, those proscribed groups were not really, mentioned, but we know that, the government has proscribed not just as many different groups, but what we know that the activities of the insecurity in the country is becoming quite alarming. And one thing is, if care is not taken, just like Professor Babagana Zulum said, and I quote, with his words, Nigeria will be wiped off the map if we are not looking after the crisis of the IDP camps, where many young children are now being recruited into what we call, Boko Haram activities. But we hope that whatever the outcome of these investigations will lead to something, because Mr. Tunji Ojo has also assured the public that actions were really on the way to reform the service to match international standards, where inmates will be truly rehabilitated. Time, he added, will be in line with the Renew Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And yesterday, I had the opportunity to take a good picture with a queen from America, because, if you want to set up a business in America, they were there as well. Quite an interesting event. Like I said, this event has brought in almost everyone. I was connected with someone from Poland yesterday talking about software. I've talked to, I haven't seen Nigeria in there. Maybe I might be able to tell you tomorrow, because I'll have enough time to move around today. But I can tell you that I've seen few of our black community also projecting whatever they are doing in terms of their business, whatever they are doing in terms of sales. And this is quite interesting, because in the last 2 decades that I've been coming to this kind of event, we hardly see people of our color attending this event, but also being one or two exhibitors. I also met a young boy, a young man yesterday, talking about coding. Coding is very, very important. And during the discussion with them yesterday, I was also told that many Nigerians are part of those that subscribe to coding, which shows that Nigerians are ready. We need those entrepreneurs, we need those youth, to be out there to produce and change things around the world. But that will be subject to what the government will have to put in place, which is important. Security is important, technology is important, and most importantly, this kind of event can also bring an open eye. And this is the reason why Starr Radio is here again this morning, where many of the images, videos, interviews can be watched behind the scene, as we have already started posting them since yesterday. Three months.
Oh my god, the way I was just thinking, like, look at me. Get on the side. Into back there.
Well, the case of Akeredolu, I mean, it's just something that some of us outside the country wonder why a state governor, I mean, if there's a reason that you're not capable, to manage the affairs of the state, then you might as well allow the next person, which is the deputy, to take over. But it seems, again, the kind of politics being played in Africa is a completely different one. But from the headline I'm picking up again from here, what's your utterances on Akeredolu absent? Ondo APC tells critics. You can tell that the same politicians are all the same birds of the same feathers, because what happened is, the APC are backing, this governor from operating from another state, and it says it is imperative to urge stakeholders to pursue peace with maturity and civilized conduct. This is an agitation mount on the governor of Rotimi Akeredolu to step down from office and attend to his fragile health. The ruling All Progressive Congress in the state has asked critics like myself and many Nigerians to be wary of their utterances. Again, they went further to say in a statement that was signed by the party spokesperson Alex Kalejaye on Wednesday, the party said the protest, the violent agitation by the groups demanding that Mr. Akeredolu resign from office, hand over to his deputy Lucky Ayedatiwa, should know that their desire could only lead to personal injuries. I'm not too sure what that means, because already Akeredolu has more injury to attend to than the problem the state is facing currently. Well, that is the question. You're talking about a House of Assembly that is also, in support of the same atrocity that is happening. So, and remember that each time election happens in the state, everybody that wins that state, regardless of the party, wins all. So there's no kind of an opposition like we see. There's no independent, individual that can also contest. So let's give an example. In Osun State, there's a PDP. And be rest assured that almost every House of Assembly will be PDP. If it's a Lagos State, APC, almost everyone is APC House of Assembly. You might probably get maybe one or two, but they have no say. And that means that the Ondo State House of Assembly, from the Speaker to the Deputy Speaker, are all under the balls of the Governor Akeredolu himself. Well, things are not going well because, politics is all about, trying to remain in power by coup or by voting, but sometimes after the voting, people are not pleased and they come back, and take that to the court. There's also clerical error. There's been a lot happening in this 2023. We're just less than a month away from 2023, but there will be a lot to talk about. The Court of Appeal, Abuja, has reversed the sacking of the Nasarawa State Governor. The first thing is, what led to his sacking? Was this a problem? According to the report coming out from Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule, by the State Election Petition Tribunal, in his judgment delivered just on the 2nd of October, while we are at the court, with the Alison Madueke, there was a lot of problem going on as well in Nigeria. But the report coming says that delivering the judgment, the 3-member panel led by Justice Ukechukwu Oyeman held that the tribunal was legally bound to act on witness statement filed along with the petition of front-loaded within 21 days stipulated by the law. But the appellate court held that the tribunal led by Ezekiel Ajayi acted in a grave error in using witness statement on oath, not front-loaded as required by the law, to arrive on just conclusion of nullifying the election of the governor. The question again is, can we really trust our judiciary, or is it time that everything needs to be reviewed, unbundled, so that there will be issues like these not popping up again. The court held that no petition can lawfully be amended outside the 21 days allowed by the law, as wrongly done by the tribunal. But according to the Court of Appeal, the tribunal denied the governor a fair hearing by not considering making findings on the issues of jurisdiction raised at the hearing of the petition. So you can see that it seems that something not to be right between some of those courts and some of those judges that have led to what will become a messy situation in Nasarawa and so many other states. A lot of protests yesterday in Kano, as there's another clerical error in that particular state. Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, as we continue to give you the view from the Excel Center this morning. As you can see, more people are heading in, more people are coming out. It's not just one event happening here, there's a multiple of events that takes place throughout the year. But for now, we're here to attend the Business Show London 2023, and I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie. Well, still a lot to catch up with, but we try as much as possible to see what more we can do. Police, army, clash in Adamawa, regrettable. This is coming again from Governor Fintiri. Some soldiers yesterday attacked the police command headquarters. This happens a lot. The military in Nigeria are very lawless. You know, they take advantage of that uniform, not just to oppress Nigerians, but not just to oppress innocent citizens, but also to oppress other security agencies as well, mostly the police. And the reason for that is, it seems, the fear of the military is also in the heart of the police in Nigeria. But the soldiers took the attack to the police command headquarters in the Yola, not local government area of the state. The development led to the death of a police inspector, Jacob Daniel, throwing the residents of the area into panic. We hope this kind of incident, we hope the new administration will look into this. But Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Fintiri convened an emergency security meeting in the wake of this violent protest between the police and the army operatives that left one inspector dead yesterday. The question is, what could be that the military takes in this kind of aggressive into the police station? But like I said, Fela's mother was killed by the same unknown soldier. They almost killed Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho on the 1st of July 2021. They almost killed Nnamdi Kanu on the 17th of September 2017. But it seems that that continued to go on and on. But we hope that this governor, after convening this security meeting, will be able to resolve, peace back into the state. Appeal court judgment, clerical error on the certified copies candacious in Kano State. We talked about, the election that have been concluded, but there's still a lot of error going on. The court had literally sacked the governor, Abba Yusuf, declared the All Progressive Congress, APC, Nasiru Gawuma as the winner of the March poll, but the CTC of the judgment emerged on Wednesday, affirmed that Yusuf is still the victory. The question is, how did we get to a situation where the court, that should be the place to decide, this kind of situation, come back with a clerical error as well? We'll take a few more, go back again to what is happening on the social media. Once again, malaria vaccine set for broader rollout in Africa is coming from one of the headlines. NNPP files appeal at the Supreme Court challenging Governor Yusuf sack. There's also a lot of protest that rock Kano over a court verdict sacking Yusuf. Federal government asked the Supreme Court to extend the old note validity after December 31st. Remember that we had a problem with that old note last year. There was a lot of extension, but it seems even Emefiele is facing the brunt of that as well as we speak. But he has been given a 300 million bail condition yesterday. Starr Radio UK, as we continue to look at some of the headlines. Let's go again. Hoodlums invaded OSO Pedic office, beat Ondo Commissioner to puppet. Again, we hope things of such will be looked into. Tinubu calls for a regional integration at the ECOWAS second ordinary session. there's a lot of divide between the Francophone, the Anglophone countries had been breached, fostering unity between the blocs as well. So let's see what is happening on the social media this morning. Once again, it is still the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It seems that the judiciary is trending this morning as much as possible. Likewise, the Biafra is trending as well. I'm not sure why Ghana is trending this morning. Kano is trending as well. There's a lot of discussion, but Biafra seems to be high in number. And the reason for that is because the Chief of Defense Staff talked about Simon Ekpa giving a lot of headache to them from his base in Finland, and they're expecting the government now to talk to the Finland ambassador, probably to see maybe they can bring Simon Ekpa back, because according to the Chief of Defense Staff, Musa said, Simon Ekpa messages from Finland is having impact on their work in the southeast part of the country. So that is the reason why that is trending as well. A Picot is trending this morning, and like I said, let's now look at the review of some of those things trending as well. Let's now go into what Simon Ekpa just posted about 2 minutes ago. Is the government in exile of the Biafra. Every indigenous nationalities in Nigeria must start asking hashtag number 10 Downing Street, United Kingdom, if they created Nigeria as a Muslim nation or amalgamated Nigeria as a Muslim nation in 1914. If that was not the case, when did the status of Nigeria change officially with a question mark? The Christians in Nigeria are corrupt, only interested in money, while the Islamization is being recognized by UK and everyone is fighting Simon Ekpa. We are changing this fight. It will be holistic going forward. This is just posted on his X page in just 2 minutes ago. Let's talk about what the African Confidential says as well. Some of you suffer-head Nigerians, especially those APC Ronu conservatives. We keep mocking these Biafran agitators, handling businesses in the southeast until it is no longer funny, and that your shameless government is literally on its knees begging the world to intervene on the matter. I talked about the referendum yesterday, and the question is, will this new administration of President Bola Tinubu give a referendum, or should we say give a survey? Because in 1978 there was only 8% of people that wanted the breakup of Scotland from the United Kingdom. That number has risen. Can we get a survey by the National Bureau of Statistics to ask the question, how many Nigerians still wants to remain as Nigerians? And probably, maybe then we might even be talking about more people who wants to remain in Nigeria, or maybe more wants a better, maybe a Nigeria that works in a new constitution like the Afenifere. There's two of them. The Fashion Roti is now asking President Bola Tinubu to review the constitution before we can start talking about peace in the country. And you're quite right. Yesterday there's a particular, stand there that has, talked about data. How do we maximize data? How do we make use of it? Data is very, very important. We need data to know how many Nigerians are coming in and out, and how many non-Nigerians are coming in and out. We have about 1,000 porous borders. That literally means that the country, is open to whoever can come in, commit crimes. There's a lot of drugs going on in Nigeria. There's a lot of atrocity apart from the ones that we focus on, which is the terrorism as well. But like you said, the government needs to start working on those data and allow Nigerians to have the true picture of what Nigeria means to Nigerians, should we even want to remain one. The question is, what we got, as so many have said, was a regional government. Maybe the regional government might resolve some of this problem that we're talking about, or maybe, like those that says, enough is enough. Let's come on the round table before things goes AWOL. The last thing many of us want to see is to see an engagement between the government and the Biafras, using the other alternative. When there's a room now for a proper discussion that can lead to whatever the outcome of whether the Biafra stays or out of Nigeria. Well, even if Simon Ekpa is deported back to Nigeria, then there will be another Simon Ekpa, because remember that Nnamdi Kanu was detained, rendition, kidnapped. Simon Ekpa took over, and I'm sure when something is a movement, it's not about one person, it's an ideology. There are many people that keys into it. Whether people agree with it or not is a different thing. But the best way to solve problems is to talk about it in a peaceful way. But talking about it in a peaceful way, allowing people to talk about it without being pushed to the side. The Scottish people are talking about the referendum, they're talking about the breakup, and no one is going after them, no one arrests anyone. If such happened in Nigeria, then maybe we might have the peace that they are not getting in the southeast right now. But because there's hostility between the federal government and the Biafra, there's also hostility between the Yorubas and the federal government that led to the almost assassination attempt on the life of Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho. The question then is, how do we, work out these so that there will be peace in the land while the discussion of whether we keep Nigeria or not remains? Well, I got a call as I was leaving the studio last night, and one of those, the individual said to me, it seems that, things are not really, going the direction. I said, look, as much as a movement is a movement continues until there's a hope, of a line that will communicate. And since it's not an armed struggle, we got to remind people that, Professor Banji Akintoye says that Yoruba will not take arms against the federal government, but we will leave Nigeria. That means that there will be a lot of diplomacy, there will be a lot of diplomatic conversation, there will be a lot of, negotiation. Like you said, what is the way forward? What should we be expecting tomorrow? It might be in the evening, so we might not be able to pick up that, but probably on Monday, we might be able to give out what Professor will be saying tomorrow. What I think is going to happen is that, the professor and some of the team that are working quietly, some of us have a bit of, insight of what is going on. It's all about, preparing. If you don't prepare very well, you might end up losing at some end. And since we're not talking about one particular people now, we're talking about almost 30 million of the Yorubas on the ground, some still believe that the current administration will do the needful, and that means that we do not want to have a clash with such particular group, but we still want to remind them that the Yorubas are one people, one culture, one language. And some of the reasons, that, the Yorubas wants to, you had Simon Ekpa saying that is Nigeria a Muslim country? As we speak today, 12 states operate Sharia. And the question again is, these are very dangerous times. But like I said, the way forward by Professor Banji Akintoye tomorrow will be something to listen to and take as much note. And that would then give probably those that are still concerned that the Yoruba Nation movement is dead, or it's probably something that we're not talking about anymore.
Your dad? Who's my man? That's not my man. And do you know what? The more I look at him, the older he gets. The other day, yeah, when he walked past with Tyrone and Oxford.
And you're quite right. Yesterday, I met a particular Yoruba man yesterday. He has actually relocated his family as well to Nigeria, from Nigeria to UK. He still have his business in Nigeria, but because of security concern, not everybody has that kind of means. He actually talked about the same thing, that the movement has gone for 3 years. There must be some kind of the engine. I mean, yes, there was there was what we call the mass protest, the mass rally. But if you look at it today, there's a lot of activities that has been going on in southwest Nigeria. As I speak to you today, there is an event going on in Ibadan that is showcasing the culture, the dancing, the outfit. And these are also part of how to get people to talk about the movement. The other one, the reason why it was much more out there is because the crowd that were coming out on the street, was making a huge impact. But like you said, this time around, it's more of an insight of discussion, an insight showcasing, and like I said, the way forward is still something that many people wants to know. If the way forward, it's all about coming out on the street, protesting. Some have argued that our not coming out to protest is showing that maybe we are lenient to the present administration as against the one that was there before, the former President Muhammadu Buhari. Well. I mean, it seems that everybody's almost, we probably what we do is we get those interviews and then we will send them and then we'll post them maybe tomorrow. Thank you so much, Mr. Archie. And I'll leave you again in the good hands of Archie on the Starr Radio UK. Join me again tomorrow, and it might be again from a different location. We'll leave that till tomorrow. Bye for now. Sorry, Anita, you couldn't hear what Archie was saying because there's no way there will be too much more. We're not going to spend much time. I want to be inside. I want to get as much information today. Ekaro, Grandma Felicia Ajagbe, Mukin Ekaro, Mr. Perry, good morning. Yomi, Esther, good morning. Bishop Adeshina, thank you so much. Egbomi Yemi Fatoki, Mukia Tobimi, Babawa Akim, Oluwadare, Mr. Matthias, Oluwagbenga, Silver Badmos, T-Gold. I have to end the broadcast. I will be coming out later. We're here the whole day, so I'm not in a rush today. But I want to be inside because Tebalo Sori, our platforms were at the post and interviews and if there's anything that you think might also be of benefit to you, question me around this event, talk to me after it, and then we can see how we can manage that. But for now, I've got to go back inside. We have 750 exhibitors. I was unable to catch up with 50 yesterday. I need to be inside. I need to be talking to every single one of them on a 1 minute, 2 minute video, upload those videos, and then you can take it as an advantage that since then you only watch it will be an advantage for you that at least you can listen to it through KOIKIMEDIA. Thank you so much. Let us end the broadcast. And like I said, we'll be back later on, probably maybe in 2 hours time. We'll come back here again. I think the reception here is very good. And we go live and we talk about almost everything again. Have a very good morning. Bye for now.